and welcome to my review of the Charvel DK24 Angel Vivaldi Signature Nova. Let's find out if this guitar is as excellent as my pants. First time I played one of these was when I was on holiday in the US. I went to Guitar Center in New York. They had one there. There was a guy trying one out and he let me have a go on it for about a minute or so, which is, I didn't want to take up any more of his time. It felt really good and I decided then and there, when I got back to Australia, gonna go out and get one. Then they started filtering into stores. One place got one in, so I ordered it, they sent it over to me, and then I was able to have like a real good look and go over the guitar. So today we're going to go over all the positives and the negatives. But first off, we're going to go over the specs. This is a 7-string dinky body, basswood made body with satin sage green finish, bolt-on maple neck with graphite reinforcement, maple fretboard with rolled edges, satin finish on the back, 24 jumbo frets with 12 to 16 inch compound radius. Electronics wise, it features a 5-way selector switch, 2 DiMarzio humbuckers, Tone Zone 7 in the bridge and an Air Norton 7 in the neck. The whole guitar has gold hardware with a Gotto 510 custom 7 bridge made custom for this guitar, Charvel branded locking tuners, and Luminlay side dots. Alright, I'm going to go through the pickup sounds now. You won't get the same sounds as me because you're most likely going to have a different setup. I'm running a Axe-Fx with a Friedman amp into the Friedman BE into a Mesa 4x12 with a tube screamer out front. I'll start with the bridge pickup. Second position, which is split coil. Third position, which is both humbuckers. Fourth position, which is this humbucker in parallel. I believe it's the 2 coils in parallel together. And then the fifth position is just the neck humbucker. Now I'll do it with some clean tones. I believe this is just a JC 120 style tone. So again, we'll start with the bridge humbucker. Second position, which is the single coil sound from the bridge humbucker. Middle position. Fourth position. And then finally the bridge humbucker. That's it. First up, the positives. It has fairly good tuning stability thanks to the Gotto 510 bridge. It's easy to use, easy to intonate, doesn't require double locking. It's not quite as good as what a Floyd Rose would be, simply because it doesn't have that double locking. You can use it for general vibrato and, you know, a little bit of dives, but if you do massive Van Halen style dives on it, it will go out of tune eventually. The electronics on this are very solid. The pots and the switch all feel good. I've never opened it up to see what brand they are or anything like that, but they feel solid, they feel good, they work as they should, they've never crackled, nothing like that. It's nice to have proper branded pickups on a guitar like this. Often guitars in this price range can have OEM pickups instead of branded ones, but Charvel went all out and you get the proper Damasio's with these. Another positive is heel-mounted truss rod for easy access. I like easy access. Compound radius seems good. It starts at 12 inches up here and goes to 16 inches as you get closer to the body of the guitar. I don't really notice it though. I don't really notice radiuses on most guitars. Most of mine are somewhere around the 12 to 16 mark anyway, so this just feels like any one of those. But it might be something that you're looking for. The fret ends on this and the fretwork is absolutely fantastic. They do roll the fretboard, which means that they also take a little bit of material off the frets on the end, but it means that you get no fret sprout, no sharp ends, and it does make the fretboard feel just a little bit thinner, a little bit sort of thinner that way, which does help, especially for a 7-string. 7-strings and other, you know, extended range instruments can feel a bit unwieldy as they get wider that way. This makes it still feel manageable and, you know, small enough. Full disclosure though, when I talk about the fretwork on this guitar at the store I bought it from, it was plecked. So as far as the top and the crown and all of that, it's perfect, but I can't say that's exactly how it'll come from Charvel. I haven't had any bad experiences with them in terms of fretwork, so I assume it'd be pretty good, but this is above average because of that pleck job. These also have lumen lace side dots, which is a great feature, especially at this price range. There's a lot of guitars out there. I have some higher end ones that don't feature it, and I feel at this point it's something that should be on all guitars above a certain price point. Like, it really says this is a player's guitar, this is a guitar you can go out and gig, you can take it on stage and you're going to be able to see where you're playing, and like, it's not that much of an upcharge to have them, so it's really nice that this does feature them. Now for the negatives. First up, the main negative with this guitar is the finish on the body. It is quite rough. You can definitely see it. I'll put some pictures up. You can definitely see it along the sides and inside the horns. You can see it a little bit on the front. It is scratchy. There are marks in it. It looks like the wood underneath hasn't been sanded completely. I can't say that if this is the case across the whole run of these, but definitely this one I'm holding. It is a subpar finish job. Whilst the color looks good and you won't see it from a distance, you can absolutely see it when you get up close to it. It is not good. Another negative I had, which I was able to rectify, but one that I shouldn't have to, is the action on this was extremely high, even with the setup from the shop, even with the plec job, and it was just simply a case the bridge could not go any lower to get the action to where it should be, especially on a shredder guitar, where it should be fairly low. This actually required removing the neck and shimming it to bring the neck up so that the frets were closer to the strings, so that you could have the bridge sitting at a correct height where it's actually usable. If you do drop a bridge down too far, it starts to hit into the body and it won't return to tune, it won't work as it should. So this has been shimmed. It does have good action now, but really you don't want to be doing that to a brand new guitar. The other thing is the tuners. Now, they went all out and you get a proper Gotto bridge, which is really nice. That's really feels really nice and it works exactly as it should. And then they use just OEM tuners. Why not go all out and use Gotto tuners as well? It would make the tuning stability just that little bit better. Not there's huge issues with that, but these don't feel that nice to actually use to tune the guitar. Now, you mostly play a guitar, you mostly feel the neck, and you mostly hear the sounds. Oh, that must be the Pepsi. God, I love Pepsi Max. However, you'd still have to be able to tune it, and these feel like when you turn, they lag a little bit. They feel sometimes over tight, sometimes over loose. I've tried to make sure they all feel around about the same by, tightening the screws as you need to. But it would have been nice for them to go all out and just give you the proper Gotto tuners to match the bridge, and the whole thing would have felt better. It's probably just a me thing, but I don't really like the color of the nut. I feel like a black nut would have looked better. I could change it, I'm too lazy. Another thing, and this really isn't on Charvel, this is on Damasio, the finish on the pickups has started to flake off. And it definitely oxidizes faster than the other gold hardware. You possibly can't see it on camera, but I'll see if I can get some photos and put them up. There's a little bit of flaking. It just always looks disgusting and dirty. It always just picks up moisture in the air, and that just causes it to look terrible. Not something you want from these. Like, if it was 4 or 5 years old, I'd be less inclined to feel that way. But these started chipping and wearing and looking bad within a couple of months. Now, I don't dig in super hard with my pick, and I haven't been hitting them with my pick, especially as I play in between the pickups anyway. So that's not the issue. It's just that the gold finish just does not stay on them very well, especially on the pole pieces themselves. Now, some of the neutral things about the guitar, which will depend exactly on the player. You might find a positive or a negative. For me, they're just neutral things. The neck shape, it is a lot rounder than what you might be used to. Oftentimes you'll get a 7-string and they will be very thin and flat. They try to make it that way so it still feels manageable, because these can blow out and feel like you're playing a giant cricket bat very quickly. Charvel have gone a different route with this, with Angel. They've developed a lot rounder feel neck. This feels a lot more like a Strat. So if you're coming from a Strat or a similar guitar with a more rounded neck, this will feel right at home straight away. It does stay fairly consistent thickness all the way up, which is nice, and it does have a really nice satin finish on the back. But if you are looking for that standard fast shredder neck, this may not instantly be what you're looking for. However, if you do want something different from the normal because you just don't like the over flat feel, this may actually suit you perfectly. Because the fretboard is rolled, it does help to keep the size down, so even with a bit thicker neck and the rounder neck, it still feels very, very manageable. It does feel good to riff on, and it does feel good to play leads on. But I always recommend, if you can, go try a guitar before you buy it, or if you're going to buy it from somewhere that has a really good return policy, do that, because there's every chance that if you're used to Schecter or Ibanez, things like that, and you grab one of these, it's going to feel very different, and it may not be what you're looking for, or it could be exactly what you're looking for. But if you can, try it before you buy it to know if it is for you. Another neutral thing, especially for me, is the fret material. These are just standard nickel frets. Some people expect stainless steel frets. Some people won't buy a guitar without stainless steel frets. To me, it's much of a muchness. Some of my guitars have it, some don't. I don't really notice the difference. I don't have a very hard sort of left hand. I'm not super rough, so my frets don't tend to wear that fast anyway, which is a positive for me, so I don't really need to worry too much about getting my frets leveled and crowned and that too often. But if you are very heavy-handed, or you do like using strings that are very heavy and you're very heavy-handed with those, yeah, it might be something to consider that this doesn't come with stainless steel frets. And another thing, and this is something that Fender does at this range, remembering that Charvel is owned by Fender, so is Jackson. Whenever you buy a guitar in this mid-range, there's no gig bag, no case, nothing. Now, while I don't expect you to get a hard case, it would be nice to get a gig bag at this level. A lot of other companies sell guitars even cheaper that do come with gig bags. Things like, you know, PRS, their SE range, I believe they come with gig bags. Just a lot. A lot of things, you know, do come with the gig bag. This doesn't come with anything. So whilst it is all about the guitar itself, it would be a better experience opening up the box to having a gig bag and then the guitar being in the gig bag instead of just in that white sort of styrofoamy style stuff, that white bag inside the box. It does cheapen the experience a little bit, but again, you only unbox it once. But if you do want to go to a gig with it, you're going to have to buy a case separately or a gig bag separately. If you've already got heaps lying around, it's not going to be an issue. But for me, I just feel that Fender in general, they should be stepping up their game in that mid-tier of instruments, because if you buy a Gibson at around the same price, and there are Gibsons around the same price, they all do come with a gig bag. Overall, I think it's quite a good guitar. It is quite feature-packed. It is a good price for what it is. It's not trying to be super high-end, so it doesn't give you super high-end features, but it is trying to be an affordable signature guitar. Angel Vivaldi says that many times, that he was going for something that everyone would be able to attain, and I think he has achieved that. It's very, very playable. It sounds fantastic. Everything on it feels solid and works as it should. There are some quality control issues, but generally speaking, most guitars at this range, you are going to get some quality control issues. There has to be in areas where they cut costs to have the features they want, DiMarzio pickups, the Godot trem, things like that. They have to cut the cost somewhere, and they've just chosen to do that in things like the finishing and what have you. I'd say just the little things like not having better tuners and not just maybe doing just a little bit better on the finish holds this back from being sensational. Would I prefer it to be just a little bit more expensive and just a little bit more polished? Yeah, that's my taste though. Some people may not find any issue with it whatsoever. I personally would prefer to see it stepped up just a smidge to take it to being an absolutely fantastic guitar. It is a great choice for those who are just wanting to get into 7-string. If you're looking at sort of mid-tier guitars because you've played 6 strings, because you've played 6 strings for quite a while and you want to extend out into 7s, this would be something to look at in amongst all the others around that price range. Definitely give it a look in, see if the feature set suits you, see if the neck suits you. If it does, it is a good buy. Is it as excellent as my pants? Well, no, nothing is, so just forget that. However, I would give this probably a 4 out of 5 eggs. It is quite good. I do recommend it, especially for the price point. That's really what it comes down to, is that you get a lot of guitar for the price point. And whilst, yeah, there's a couple of things missing, there's a couple of QC issues, overall, like, you are getting a lot for the guitar. And if you are coming from cheaper equipment and you're upgrading, yeah, it's going to blow you away. It's going to be fantastic. If you already have quite a lot of high-end stuff, yeah, it may not live up to the standards you want, or it might do. I don't know your standards. Overall, I say, yeah, it's a good package. Gets a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, you can like, share, subscribe, or do whatever you like. We'll have more videos out soon, some original music, maybe some more reviews. If you like, leave a comment with what you'd like to see more of.